a lot of my life in Dearborn and with Ford Motor. A lot of it was unexpected. I went from Nowlin to O.L. Smith to Etzel Ford. My very first car was a 1968 green Mustang that my dad gave me, and I used it to go to my first job at Greenfield Village. I graduated from Etzel Ford High School in 1975, and I went on with classes at Henry Ford Community College. And at the time, I had an interview with Ford Motor Company and went to their private schooling to become a test car driver. My aunt was working there, and through the grapevine around the neighborhood, because the test track was close to where I lived, I just heard about it and I applied. My dad hired in with the city of Dearborn, and that was in the area of Parks and Recreation. And he did that up to the day he retired at 62 years old. And Mayor Guido was his boss at the time. And he started in when Mayor Hubbard. I did work for the city of Dearborn, looking at the outdoor ice rinks for the city of Dearborn. And at that time, I was going through the Ford Motor classes. I picked Ford Motor from Dearborn. I thought to be a test car driver is quite exciting. To become a test car driver for Ford, it would take schooling with Ford Motor itself. And I would have to say a lot of practice and hands-on learning. When I started with Ford Motor Company, I trained approximately 9 months. There were 26, and by 1982, there was myself. There are many different types of test driving positions at Ford Motor Company. My job was to test for fuel economy and emissions, working in a dynamometer lab. I worked from the very first day of 1979, retired on the very last day of 2014. The activities in Dearborn, the youth center up on Michigan Avenue with the roller skating, billiards, you could even watch TV to relax, and shuffleboard, many of the things with neighbors, bowling. All my buddies growing up from elementary school to middle school to high school. We also had Ford Field, which I think a lot of my high school mates would meet and ice skate. And of course, the big one was using the hill in the wintertime for tobogganing and meeting up and having great times. Camp Dearborn was excellent. My mother would take us when we moved. I probably started going to Camp Dearborn when I was approximately 8 years old, and she'd drive us out there. And went out there many times with the Cub Scouts. I was with the Cub Scouts in the city of Dearborn. We went out there for that. And even the elementary school that I went to, Nowlin. They had many things out there. They bussed us out there just before our summer getaway and before we went out of school. It was just great, Camp Dearborn. I remember in elementary school, we had the use of any outdoor pools when I was, say, 9 years old. And what was required is we had to have swimming trunks, of course, but we had little tags that the city of Dearborn would issue out to know that we are from Dearborn, and we used to have them sewed on our bathing trunks, and that's how we got in to swim. It was Whitmore Bowls. In fact, I know I could walk there from my house. And at nighttime, even in the winter, we used the indoor swimming pools, and the main one I used was O.L. Smith Junior High. When working for Ford Motor Company sponsored the very first TPC, Tournament Players Club, senior tournament. The golfers that I met were quite well known: Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, and Arnold Palmer. During my career, Ford Motor would take pictures for the company. And once again, through my job, I was very impressed. Lucky, maybe. I don't know what you want to call it. But they do have pictures of myself with Bill Ford, Henry Ford III, and Mark Fields. Myself, I was, this is where I say, like, probably met them on the side a little bit here and there. And I had private pictures taken with Alan Mullally.